Welcome to the Penny Bloom Podcast. Ain't another place that has got more bombast. Romp past your mom, dad's listening to Tomcats. Talking everything that make you sad. We don't want that. We're here to make you smile. Put your mind at ease. Peace, love, and bloom, and always praise Keanu Reeves. This what we about. Get some weed in now. We'll talk until we can't no more, and then we peacing out. Alright, let's go. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome in to the 134th episode of the Penny Bloom Podcast. 'Tis I, Colton Robertson, and you're back for Mutants Monthly number 2 with none other than Aurora Carter. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, thank you for having me, Aurora. Of course, anytime. But yeah, of course, this is Mutants Monthly. We're doing our monthly X-Men talk, and frankly, X-Men is something that I needed a little bit more of in my life, and being able to come back to different material every single month. Now for 2 months, which isn't a lot, but 2 months has been very, very fun. This week is Something Blue, and we're talking three of our favorite blue boys and blue gal. We've got Mystique, Nightcrawler, and the Beast on the table today, and I don't really have a set organization here for how the episode is going to go. I say we kind of talk about each of the characters one by one, how they intersect a little bit every now and then, and wherever the conversation takes us, it takes us. Obviously, if you were with us last month, you know that's the case. You heard us talk about Professor X and Magneto, and if you haven't yet, strongly recommend. However, you won't need to have listened to it to understand this one. Yeah, let's jump into it, though. Who's the first character you want to talk about? In fact, let me ask, of the three we've got on the table here, we got Mystique, Nightcrawler, and the Beast. Who's your favorite?
Nightcrawler.
It's easy.
It's so, cause Mystique can shapeshift, but Beast and Mystique, all they do is flip. So it's like, even though Mystique is definitely badass, but Nightcrawler, it's just the fact, he's held by something. Like, his religion stops him from, doing a lot of stuff, his faith.
That is one of the most interesting aspects of the character,
yes,
is how he is so, he's incredibly faithful. He is incredibly devoted to God. It's and it's not something you get a ton of in comic book media at all. And I'm personally not incredibly religious. However, that always provides a different insight into a character and a very clear reason as to why they do the things they do, and Nightcrawler is one of those that is, you never really question him. Pretty steady, like a rock. He's usually on the good side of things. Not gonna be on the wrong side of history too often if you're Nightcrawler. But yeah, I can get down with that for sure. And the character design.
I remember I was playing X-Men Legends 2 on my PlayStation 2 recently, and I remember when Nightcrawler would use his buff, he would do a little prayer. And it was I never understood as a kid, what the fuck is he doing? Why he's the only one that does the Catholic cross? And I'm like, oh, this blue devil fuck is religious. Who would have known?
No, yeah, he really is just one of the things you get from him in various stories. You don't see a very old Nightcrawler often. You don't get a lot of aged Nightcrawler. He's typically a pretty spry young man. So he's pretty happy-go-lucky. He can get, he obviously has his moments, in his origin, where he is being chased by a mob of people who are going to kill him. That's the goal. Hey, if we can get rid of this blue demon, maybe we'll all be safe. Humanity, yeah. However, if they would just, listen to him for a couple seconds, you would hear him saying, why are they like this? I just want to hang out. I just want to be their friend. I'm just trying to be a human, that's all. Just because I'm blue and I got this devilish tail don't mean that I'm bad news. One of the good guys.
Yeah, and that's why like it's so like compelling when he I mean not compelling, but like really emotional when you actually see him like stab someone to fuck up with 2 swords. Like when he just like, yes, like I gotta do it. But like it's killing him. And I remember watching what is it, X2, when Halle Berry Storm, when she when she says, what are these marks for? And he's like, one for every sin. Like he's actually carving scars into his body.
That's not part of his mutation. He's not like, he doesn't have that. He put that there.
Yeah, and it's like, it's kind of sad because this man is constantly like fighting himself. Like it's just like, yeah, I have to go with the X-Men. Of course, I gotta fight. And then the simple fact that his powers, like his teleportation, what he goes to like a dark dimension or something.
I am not entirely versed in Nightcrawler's power. As my knowledge goes as far as he bamfs. He bamfs, he moves somewhere else.
I remember seeing something. I think he was with the Avengers and the Fantastic Four and Spider-Man was in the room. And they don't like it when he bamfs in closed spaces because it stinks. Like,
no shit.
It smells
That's
like
funny. Well, no, like that would like, obviously it would produce an effect beyond sight. Like there is a dust cloud there for a second. There's got to be some sort of residual coming off of this shit.
Yes, I remember I was watching this funny skit on YouTube about the X-Men, and Professor X had like people coming in, auditioning for the X-Men, and Nightcrawler was there. He says, stop teleporting in closed spaces, Nightcrawler, because he said it smells like the Predator's dreadlocks. Like I was gone. I was no good. I said, you know what? All right, let me go to sleep. Like it was so
that's hilarious. And across the Marvel universe and even DC, you're hard pressed to find a superpower that is as not mundane, but like, I mean, teleportation's no fucking joke, and like he even has the limit to where it's like, as long as you can see it, he can teleport there. Like it's not like he can just teleport anywhere. Which is another thing that you would think would make it like a little mundane, but like it is one of the best powers across all of comic book media. Just the way they can bring it to life on screen and the way it appears on the page. Like, yeah, it's one of the most beautiful character like signatures of any for my money. The purple cloud he leaves behind.
Oh, of course. Like, I really I kind of believe with me that Nightcrawler is definitely one of like the faces of the X-Men for me. And what was Nightcrawler? Was he introduced in Giant Size X-Men?
Yes, he was. That was his very first appearance. Okay. There was if you look up the character name Nightcrawler on Marvel Unlimited, you would see that there were a couple appearances prior to Giant Size X-Men. However, it's a white guy who does not have the same power. So they clearly were like, all right, we're getting Giant Size X-Men out there now. Like we're trying to revamp this franchise. This guy, this name's dope. We gotta use it.
Nightcrawler. And I really like, I always thought like him and like, even though she's not blue, she's Caucasian as fuck. Kitty Pryde, like when, like, Nightcrawler has to also touch you to teleport, but she can touch you to phase. So it's like,
yeah, exactly.
I always saw that as like being funny. I'm like, it'll be like, I always thought about them too, like if they was being intimate and they just like, oh, I can make you go through me. He's like, I will teleport the fuck out this room right now. Yeah. Don't play with me. Like it was, like I always saw that being funny, but I think of all the 3 blues that we're talking about, Nightcrawler and Mystique are the only blood related, right? Are they blood related? Because
the Beast is not a part of their family because the Beast and his origin, his mutation isn't that. His mutation is that he's got big hairy feet. Then he tries to fix it, and then he becomes a blue beast.
Yeah, he was a very big man, but
he got them big old hairy feet. He can climb really nicely.
Yes, and I love the fact. I did like the fact that he was very, WWE giant at first. Like he would just big as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
But then, like, I do like how he looks now. He's more feline. Like, I love the feline beast look. Like,
It's
I
pretty
love
nice.
that.
It's pretty cool. I like that too. And the modern take on the beast, or I guess we can just transition real quick in the beast. We'll bring it back to Nightcrawler when it's relevant. But I love the modern design of the beast when it comes to like his transition in First Class, and then beyond that, because it like you said, it's just so much more feline, and it's frankly it's better looking. Like the original one was cool because it really did like, I'm thinking Last Stand, right, is the one the Beast makes his appearance in.
Yes.
In full blue.
Last Stand, yes.
Yeah, because I remember that character very distinctly because it is an incredibly original design and does look a ton like the comic book and X-Men cartoon version of the Beast. Like it was an incredible design and they nailed it. However, taking that design and being like, what would this character look like younger?
Yeah.
You know, basically being like, all right, let's revamp this kid a little bit. Let's see what we can do.
Like Last Stand, I remember my mother took me to the movie theaters to see. That was my first X-Men movie that I've ever saw in the movie theaters. And I remember like coming from, my heritage, black and stuff like that. She's like, what kind of mousse and silk press did they do to his hair? Cause damn, like it was, I said, oh yeah, they had a black woman on set cause his hair looked over. Like I was like, oh yeah. Yeah.
That was always something that stuck out to me about the Beast too. In that original appearance was the way that he was like all slicked back. And
yes. I said, look at that lace front wig. They got him looking good. I was like, well, Nicki Minaj is shook right now. But I love the design. And I also like the way his I can't remember because I don't want to get too much into costumes because I was going to say that, but I know we're saving that later on.
Yeah.
But his design was his costume. I can't remember, but did it have hints of yellow in his suit in Last Stand?
I don't remember. I'll have to look into that real quick. I don't believe so, though.
Because I was that like I don't want to know if I'm getting confused. I know First Class it was yellow, but I could have sworn he had yellow in his suit too, because it was like a jacket.
Oh yeah, it was less yellow and more like a gold. It was the X on the front, on the chest, and then the stripes over the shoulders. But yeah, it was a pretty cool look, but it doesn't really I don't want to jump too much into costumes now. I'll have to save that because I was gonna go on a whole thing and I can't.
I know. I was just
and for those that are like, why can't they talk about it? October, Halloween, costumes, dressing up. That's what we're going to talk about, along with, I had another idea to add some horror comics, like the scary X-Men comics out there.
Yes. Okay. Yes, we could definitely do that. I would love it.
Yeah. We'll throw that in with October too. So that's that. Personally, right now, October's looking like my favorite month of anything we're doing. The costume design and horror comics just looks like a fun fucking
that looks fun.
So
yeah, I was thinking about today. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So October 31st, guys, get on there. But
for sure. But yeah, I'm a switch to Mystique real quick since I was talking about how
let's go to Raven.
the way they're all brought to life, and this is one that I can actually talk about all of them in general, like on the screen. I thought Nightcrawler was one of the interesting ones, where I think the original take on like the practical effects of the way he looks, I liked that more in the original X2 and X-Men Last Stand more than I did in Days of Future Past and so on. Cause I don't know. It felt more like it just felt more real to me. And I can say honestly that's probably the only character where I feel that way of the three we're talking. Because I remember Mystique in the original one, like it looked practical, like it looked great, but like the way they brought it to life in First Class and then Days of Future Past is just different. And obviously the technology shift that we've gotten play a big part in that, because her whole thing is really hard to bring to life.
I know that like people was very like they was complaining about more Mystique, about Jennifer Lawrence, about like her being fully blue, but I'm saying like you're kind of wanting her to look like movie Mystique, not literally like comic related, you know, like because comic Mystique was, you know, like the only things you saw was blue for her arms, face, and legs. So it wasn't like she was fully naked, like with her signature white outfit. She was never was like fully naked all the time.
That one with the white dress and stuff will be coming up next month. I'm gonna tell you right now.
Yes,
but
I'm trying not to get too much into the costume. I'm just trying to really talk about like the movie side. It's so hard. This is so hard, Colton. But
I know it's going a line, but we're gonna do it.
I did like the fine details. I did like the scale look of Mystique, but then I also like the way that I don't think this is costume, so I could say this. I did like how the Sentinels had Mystique like scales imprinted on that. Like I love that.
That kind of little detail in the story, like the fact that in Days of Future Past, what they are mining is Mystique's power to apply it to the Sentinels. You know, like it's like that's perfect. You know, it makes everything with Mystique so far worth it for me, you know, like in terms of the character design. Cause like, you know, most of the time when she did appear in comics, she was in the white dress and stuff. Like it was a pretty original choice to go with that when it came to X-Men. Like it was kind of like, oh, that feels kind of weird, kind of random, but it was actually like very distinctive, very memorable. Like I remember being like 5 knowing who the fuck Mystique was, and it was just because I knew she was the blue scaly naked woman on the screen.
Yeah, the blue scaly. I used to always try. This is when this is when before I knew what sexuality was. I used to always be like, I wonder what it looked like down there. But you know,
wonder how's that?
Like inside, I know
how's that work?
From like X-Men lore, I know it's not, but like 2005 Fantastic Four, I thought they skinned Mystique and took. I don't know why. Some reason my brain was like, oh my god, they skinned Mystique and used her clothes. I was so ignorant. But I didn't know what this stuff was. I just thought that's what happened. I saw Marvel and I thought she was with them. But oh man, like that, like yes, the whole Sentinels aspect, like it made them look more ominous when they would like just stand still and they would just have that effect that her skin has when she would like change. It was so,
the fact that like they used the same like the scales flipping effect every time that they even implemented a power. Like it didn't have to be that they were changing appearance. It was that they were going to use a new ability. So it has to shift into that new ability using Mystique's power.
Yes.
Which begs the question, do you think there's like any potential, or is there any storyline out there where Mystique's power expands just beyond?
See, I don't know because
looks.
I don't really know. I remember her turning, cause she never really did. I don't think she did say all in the movies when she turned to animals. Cause I've seen stuff when she turns to snake, birds. Yeah. I have seen that. But I don't think she could imitate powers. I remember in Days of Future Past, I think they were using also Rogue's DNA into the Sentinels. Because I remember the Rogue cut that they had Rogue in the X-Match, and they was taking her DNA and putting it into the Sentinels they was like bonding her and Mystique.
That would make sense too. And I think that part of that was also like, they used it would have made sense if they used like the cure to have mined their DNA.
Yes.
And then
which makes sense. It was kind of cool that they would use Rogue and Mystique's DNA because, you know, Mystique kind of like mothered her for a while in the Brotherhood. So
and that's always an interesting aspect of Rogue's story that I didn't know until I was like, whenever I started reading comics and really paying attention to what I was watching on the X-Men cartoon and stuff. But like in the movies, that's not part of it. And I grew up on the movies, so when I learned this little part of Rogue's backstory and part of Mystique's backstory, it was really fascinating. Because I think Mystique kind of gets did dirty in those original movies. She's nothing more really than Magneto's lackey. She's just kind of there.
Well, I use cum bucket, but you can use that.
Yeah, that too. But
yeah, we can go with lackey.
Lackey, but yes, the way they expanded her backstory in the later movies, and later killing her off in Dark Phoenix, but it's rough. You did all this other shit in the other movies. She's not the one you kill for weight in that moment. We
had so many other people we could have. That's a whole thing. I cannot wait till we talk about that movie. Oh my God.
Yeah, because I have some beef with that part. Just because what they do in First Class, Mystique becomes much more important. Yes. She becomes much more integral. She becomes the yin and yang to Magneto and Professor X. She's on both sides. She has been anyway. She's been on both their sides. And then they expand on that in Days of Future Past. She's the fucking hero. She's the one that we need to be okay, so in this alternate future, eventually, she's the one we're looking to. She is our leader, X-Men. She's basically Scott before Scott. And then in Dark Phoenix, they were like, yeah, she's leading.
But guess what? And then you not even intentionally get killed. It's an accident. That's the thing that I was like, all right, okay, we not doing this. I was so mad.
And I skipped Apocalypse. She was dope in Apocalypse.
She was dope in Apocalypse. She got choked. Everything slammed. Bam. Went against Sentinels. But, Gina's like, stop. Oh, you're crucified. It's so
fucking
stupid.
Impaled.
Yes.
Goddamn. And it's just the fact that, it doesn't... It's wrong character. If you wanted to do something right there in that moment, aren't there 4 other people there?
Yes, yes. We could have killed
that were to this X-Men team.
Yes,
not nearly as important, but still represented. She just killed a member of the X-Men.
I would even prefer. I know I might get slack. I would have preferred Quicksilver, other than Mystique. Any Mystique, I'm just saying that y'all spent, I'm not trying to really talk about Dark Phoenix, I'm not talking about the Mystique storyline in it, but y'all spent so many years building Mystique. 2011 to 2019, y'all building up Mystique to be this, Scott Wolverine, y'all trying to make her be as important, giving her a strong role, and then for her just to die. I would have liked it if she killed Beast and Mystique was now on the flip side again, because she was already battling Professor X in the movie. She was already getting irritated with him,
realizing she needs to do shit a different way.
Yes, I would have, and then she became Mystique that we knew. She was like, "Hey, Eric, yeah, boo, yeah, cause
I'm back in.
Yeah, I'm trying to give you this purple."
I ain't gonna lie, bro. That scene, and I know we brought it up last month in the Professor X Magneto discussion. Whenever their flip reactions to Mystique, whenever Magneto's like, no, I like the real you, and she switches to Jennifer Lawrence, and then he's like, nah, the real you.
Yes.
I was like, oh, he want her bad.
Yes. I would have loved that he came out the room and stuff like that, and Beast is like, what happened to your lips? And he's like, why are they so blue like that? What, you losing oxygen? I would have been like, oh yeah.
Oh damn.
Yeah, he was.
However, I will say, one of my favorite aspects of those movies, the new X-Men, if you will, is Beast and Mystique. Their rapport, what they kind of become, but never officially, but you knew it was there.
Mm-hmm.
I loved their connection, and I do think that Beast gets did dirty in the movies for the most part.
Yes.
Just because in terms of the comics and in the cartoon,
I love him in the animation.
He's like Nightcrawler, like I was talking about a little bit ago. He was a rock. Like he was like, you could rely on Hank McCoy.
Yes.
That was your fucking guy.
Not
you
one.
know? And the fact that he would look at Mystique and be like, straight up, like, nah, you're not beautiful. That was never what that character was about. Like, he was never going to insult.
He was never like that. Like,
never like
he
that.
was the type of.
And obviously, it was only a self-hatred thing ever with Hank McCoy. Like, he always wanted to be normal. He always wanted that. However, it never blocked his sight of the beauty of mutants. Like, he always knew how important and how incredible they were. He just always wished that he could be back to normal.
Yes, if they would have did this, like, for instance, if the MCU want to do the same storyline where he's like, oh, I'm blue, ew, I would like if him and Ben Grimm could talk about that, because Mystique is not about that. Ben Grimm and Beast would make more sense.
Okay, I need to pull this comic book up real quick. No, because Ben Grimm and Hank McCoy is like a match made in fucking heaven. They're the perfect little duo if they ever wanted to link up to fight crime or whatever. Because, I mean, I'm trying to find the book that I found. Amazing Adventures, number 11. 1970. It's the Beast's origin, where he's like, I need to fix my feet. And then he turns into a blue beast because he tries to take his serum. Doesn't go well. However, I was like, holy shit, this is straight up the Fantastic Four movie from 2004, whenever he goes back to his apartment and he looks at his girlfriend. He's shadowed. He's in a fucking trench coat and a hat. And he's like, no, I made a mistake. And she's like, just tell me. And he's like, no, I'm trying to prepare you. And then she's like, for what? He's like, I love you. Then he steps into the light and she freaks the fuck out and he's like, no. And she's like, get away from me.
Storyline.
No, the exact same storyline. And the thing that always made it like a little bit like okay to me that those were like basically the same storyline was that the characters are drastically different. Like Ben Grimm and Hank McCoy are not the same guy by like any means. However, they would pair really, really well together.
You know, one thing always bothered me about the movies that not once did he say, I would have loved in Dark Phoenix when he went into space. Okay, it makes sense. He would be like, oh, my stars and garters. Like, I would have loved to hear that. That was the perfect opportunity. He's in space. Oh, my stars and garters. Oh, my stars. Like, that's how he talks. Like,
oh, my stars.
I was playing Lego Marvel superheroes when Cyclops and Jean is chasing Juggernaut, and Hank is just carrying this paperwork, and they just run past them, and Beast is just like, no running in the hallway. Oh, he's just like,
no, yeah, he's just like, and that's why I know like it's been about 20 minutes since I asked the question, who's your favorite? And you went with Nightcrawler. My favorite's Beast. And it's always been because of the way this character is. It like he looks like a giant jungle cat mixed with like an ape, and he's blue. Okay. He's got yellow eyes, and he's the most just a ta-ta, good day. Like it's hilarious to me. Like that's why he's my favorite. I think the Nightcrawler is probably the coolest. Don't get me wrong, but like the Beast has always held a special place in my heart because the way that you said Nightcrawler is like one of the faces of the X-Men to you, and like he is to me as well. The Beast is right there with him. Like it's like for me, it's those two, Wolverine and Cyclops, just because of the distinctive face design. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like those all just really stick out.
Like I remember I was watching the 90s X-Men Dark Phoenix saga again.
I watched that last night.
Yes, and when Jean went after the Hellfire Club, when she went Phoenix and stuff like that, what did he says? everybody's like, do not do it. Like, this Firebird is right there. Storm's like, do not do it. He's like, oh dear. Like, I was like, Beast is so,
Oh dear.
like, I just want him to smoke a blunt every time he's on screen because he is too chill. He's just like, yeah.
Oh nah, this man can handle anything. Like he's just got such a cool level head. It's like no matter what the situation, he was always just kind of like, I'm gonna look at this as logical as I can. I'm gonna break it down, and odds are I'm not gonna be that afraid of it. And like, I don't think you got a lot of that in the Foxman films, just because.
Yeah, the Foxman. I'm so happy you said that. But yeah.
Because I think back to The Last Stand. He was only in The Last Stand. He was solid in The Last Stand, but like, I wanted a more prevalent Beast. You know what I'm saying? I wanted him throughout that trilogy, not just popping up in the third movie.
Yes, and also, oh, sorry, if you could finish your thought. Yeah.
I was just gonna say, and then he was in the new X-Men films, and it was like he was much more prevalent, and I liked many aspects of his character, but it didn't feel incredibly loyal to the Beast we've come to know, and I'm all right with that. You know, I want new characterizations and stuff. However, it didn't seem to me that this Beast that we were getting to know in the Foxman films would become the Beast that we saw in The Last Stand. Those just didn't connect for me.
I
you know
feel
what I'm
like
saying?
Fox period wanted to make, they saw Beast, it's like, that's not make him funny, that's make him like serious, because he looks like a beast, but that's what makes Beast, because he's the really like this, the term looks can be deceiving, cause you would look at him and be like, oh yeah, he gonna eat me, I'm dead, yeah, straight Michael Jackson Thriller.
As civilized as it gets.
Yeah, but he's cool as shit. Like, I remember watching X-Men Evolution, and he's out there playing with the mutants. They playing like a sports game, and he's like, all right, let's play it. And then all of a sudden, they just start using their powers, and he's like, well, that's it. It's over. But then Last Stand, you said something else about Last Stand, and I thought about it. It would have been amazing. Instead of him reaching for the boy, the cure boy, and then he's like he's looking at his hand and he's crying. I would have liked it if he did it. He'd be like, oh my stars. Like, it was just like, if you could just use that, like to say it. I wanted to hear that so bad. Cause he's goofy. Beast is goofy.
That's always been his thing.
He's goofy. He's like a Clark Kent.
Yeah, I could see that for sure. Like, in the way that, like, that's actually a really good comparison in terms of their characterizations and such. Like, they are both very level-headed, usually very cool, and just a little bit of a goofball.
Mm-hmm. That's why it hurt.
Throwing a dad joke around every now and then.
That's why it hurt more in X-Men 2 Rise of the Apocalypse when Beast was the one that betrayed you. Like, I was like, nah, Beast. That was my... Damn. And like, I'm a blood. I don't even rock with Crip. I rock with him. Like, it's like, damn. Like, I was so hurt. Wow. Like, Beast is... Yeah, I think I need to change, because Beast, I actually do like Beast. Beast is cool.
Beast, that was always one of my, he was just always one of my favorites. And, to contrast that completely, my other favorite X-Man is Wolverine. But,
are they both Wolfpine mutants? Wolfpine mutants?
Yeah.
I think there's some sort of,
I always forget that there's these subgenres.
Subcategories, yeah. The Mordocs, the, Nephilim mutants, Wolfpine mutants.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know Sabretooth, Wolverine, Nightcrawler, Wolfsbane. Yeah, all of them is like the
Draken
animalistic
and stuff like that. Yeah, they're all in this same family. But
yeah,
I always thought that, like, those two being my favorites, they're just so opposite. Mm-hmm. Like, they couldn't be more opposite.
Is what's his name? Hazazel? I know this is going back to Nightcrawler, but is it Hazazel?
Yes, Azazel.
Yeah. He's Nightcrawler's dad, right?
I don't know if that's the case.
Because I don't want to look at Foxman. I don't want to do Foxman.
Yeah, cool. Well, that was the Azazel I immediately thought of.
Yeah, because I'm like, because I'm going to have a Joseph moment if I think all X-Men lore comes from the movies.
Yeah, that's Nightcrawler's dad.
That's Nightcrawler's there. Okay. I knew I wasn't tripping. Like, you know what's so embarrassing about that, Colton? You know what's so embarrassing? I was watching, in the movies, they never even say that, like, Mystique is Nightcrawler's mom, because she just out of nowhere saves him in Age of Apocalypse.
Yeah.
Well, X-Men Apocalypse. They don't say Age of Apocalypse. They don't say that. I was watching behind this, a B-roll of Jennifer Lawrence talking to Evan Peters, and he said, where did that character come from? She said, oh, he's my illegitimate love child I had with Azazel in first class. So the actress knows that this is her child, but y'all not going to put it into the film? Like, so y'all have Quicksilver looking at Magneto, but you can't have that moment with Mystique and Nightcrawler?
Yeah,
Like,
man. That would have been a great parallel to throw in that movie, too. The Quicksilver, Magneto, Mystique, and Nightcrawler. It would have been perfect.
I just don't understand. I literally don't. I don't understand the Foxmen. I know we're going to have a whole talk about that, but I don't understand. Like, it's like y'all have the material right there. Just do it.
Yeah, they didn't execute incredibly well. And
that's why if I had a budget,
Fox.
if I had a budget, I would be like, Colton, come on here. Let's write this movie together real quick. Like, if we need a budget. Quick.
Nah.
All we need.
But, no, I always thought that Mystique is definitely the character I am the least versed in terms of comic book lore.
Yes, me too.
Just because the movies obviously made her like she's an X-Men, and for a very long time that was not the case with the character Mystique. She wasn't really introduced until late 70s, so she was a little bit after even Giant Size came out.
Yeah.
So, like, she wasn't ever introduced really as an X-Men until I'd guess the 2000s. Like recent comics, she is so much more prevalent because of how much the movies had bolstered her. But I like reading old comics. I don't know about you, but like, I like getting in a time capsule and reading shit from the 60s, 70s, 80s. Like, those are perfect. I will say, however, the first comic book run I really got into when I first started reading comics was the Astonishing X-Men.
Yes.
From like 2004.
Mm-hmm.
And Mystique's pretty prevalent in that. She's, I mean, about as much as she is in any X-Men story modernly. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But, I just don't. I feel like Mystique, though. I'm not really deep in the comic lore of Mystique, but I feel like also Mystique can like have. Mystique is really like a force to be reckoned with, though. Like, you should not really underestimate her. Like, even if you're an Omega level mutant, like I don't like, she can still fuck shit up. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, she's like, and she's
a badass. Like, there are a few characters who I like. When I think of who Mystique could fight, like, it's like she could fight Black Widow and shit like that. Like, she could fight those people and defeat those. I
kind of say that Mystique is more deadly than Black Widow to me. I will even say that. Not just so far for her shape shifting. I just think that she could like do some shit. Cause she's also built in the comics. She is built.
Yeah, she's jacked.
Yes, like she will beat the shit out you. That, like, I would love Serena Williams to get blue and play Mystique.
Right, that'd be spot on.
Like, she is jacked.
I'm looking through like the red section of my Marvel Unlimited, and the amount of X-Men stuff in here is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I started with Astonishing X-Men #1, 2004.
That was the first time she was introduced, or when was the?
Oh no, that was the first comic book I read.
Oh, okay then. Because I remember reading the original, like the first X-Men comic. Like, she wasn't even nowhere in there. I was expecting her.
Oh yeah, nowhere near that.
And I was like, oh, they got Scarlet Witch before Mystique, and I said, oh, okay.
Yeah, Mystique's first appearance was Uncanny X-Men #158. On June 1st of 1982. And I remember looking into this online, looking for her first appearance. And like, there's a lot of controversy around it. Like, what's actually the first time she was really in the comic book? Cause she's like mentioned an issue or two before, but she's not actually brought in. And in this X-Men 158, She's not very prevalent, but she does appear for like a second. And she's also not in blue form.
What?
I think she shapeshifted. Like she's in someone else's shape.
Oh, okay.
So like she doesn't pop up as Mystique in that.
I thought Mystique was like the A1, like the OG. Like she was back fucking shit up. Like I did not know.
No, that's the vibe they put off. They put like in terms of the movies. I anticipated her being a part of like the Brotherhood of Evil
Even
Mutants.
the animated comics, she always came off like she was A1 with Magneto. That's just what I said. Animated comics, the animated series. Yeah, like she came off like she was A1. But question: did they ever like say that her and Magneto actually had like a relationship, or was that just something? Like a fan, like that was like a fan service, fan fiction type thing. Like
in the movies,
I know in the movies, of course, there was like a love interest, but I'm talking even comic lore, like comic book wise.
I am not entirely sure. I would assume there are some comics, just because I can't imagine that's based in nothing.
Because like you said in the Professor X, one like Mystique is wanted like the council of what was it?
The Leadership Council on Krakoa.
Yes, Krakoa. Yes, like even her to have like a big role like that. Like I'm like, I don't know. I like Mystique and Magneto together. Like they,
no, they are not. They are not comic book canon as a relationship.
Oh, come on!
The movies took the liberty to do that.
Okay, that's one thing Fox meant to me. To me, I felt they did right. Like I do love Meg. I love that relationship.
It's pretty great.
But then to also show like Mystique got done dirty so many times in this movie. It's like it's the fact that Magneto just left her to be like, oh, you can't turn blue no more. You don't got that blue waffle no more. I don't know what to do.
You mean nothing to me.
Yeah, he said you what she say? Like you're not. What did he say? You're not pure anymore. What did he say?
Some shit. It was like damn, man.
It was like a fuck boy. Yeah. Like he would, like that was something you used to say, like when a fuckboy gets somebody pregnant for the first time, it's like, oh yeah, you got to go. Like, cause you just left this girl here naked, like,
right,
fuck,
right.
Like, come on.
No, and in the fact, and then in Days of Future Past, whenever he like straight up like when he learned that what she would eventually do. Like what her power would eventually be used to do, he was like, all right, well, clearly I have to kill you.
Yeah, then dragging her with the bullet. That scene was...
That's brutal.
I was like, don't give him no more. Don't give him ass no more. Don't do it. And I know you're going to do it, but don't do it. Like,
that's some fuck shit.
Like you keep having feelings
that's
for this man.
That's incredibly abusive.
Like that is so, like Ike and Tina Turner. What is you doing? Like it's like what is you doing? Like I know this is back in the day, but damn, like you shot the bitch and you gonna drag her by the bullet? Like, oh, he deserved to die. He deserved. Oh, I'm so happy when she shot him in the neck. I was so happy. I was like, you deserve that shit. Like you deserve it. So, which actress do you prefer playing Mystique?
I'm not a huge. I'm not leaning one way super hard or the other. I think that both characters just had drastically different purposes for the time that they were used. Because, I mean, in those original. That original trilogy of X-Men films, you know, like I said, she's prevalent. She's always there, but like her story is pretty background. It's not pressing or anything.
That's what is so hard for me. Yeah. Like
when she is brought to the foreground and Jennifer Lawrence embodies her. That's why it's great, because Jennifer Lawrence is a fantastic actress.
Yeah.
So I can't really say one way or the other. In fact, I need to look into who the actress was in that original.
I thought her name began with an R. I can't remember, but even
Rebecca
Romaine. I said Lomaine.
It's Romijn. So Dutch. She's a Dutch woman.
Rebecca Romaine.
Ramen.
I'm saying Romaine. You said Robin.
Rebecca Romian.
Oh. Rebecca Roni and cheese, but still, but I really did like the see, that's why it's so hard for me, like the Foxman fans got on my nerves about when Jennifer Lawrence was first seen in, like, how they said how she got toned down with her scales in Days of Future Past, because I was like, well, Mystique always had like smooth skin. Like, it was just blue.
Yeah, like that was always her thing.
Yeah, it was just like
always blue. Her character design, at least comic book wise.
Yeah, it was just blue. Like, she had poreless skin. Like, it was pretty fantastic. But the movies is what made her more reptilian like, I think.
Yeah, she was scaly. It is weird. I'm looking at it in the Last Stand, and it's definitely like, it reminds me of like an alligator's back.
Yeah. Oh, that means she was ashy, but like still, but like, but yeah, like I just didn't understand that, because I'm like, and like, I don't want to get into comic books, but this I'm on a comic book costume, but I'm just gonna say this one little part. I literally almost passed out in Apocalypse when I saw Mystique have her like almost a signature outfit on at the end of it. That was fan service well done. That was, I mean, so many people was like, what? I remember, like, it was I was just like, what? This is crazy.
That shit was crazy.
It's all white.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, is when it comes to the movies, and I can't dive too deep into costumes because it's next month, but I was just going to say that, like, you know, they either go really hard or they don't go nearly hard enough.
Yeah, it's never a middle ground.
Yeah.
It's never a middle ground. Like, Jean with dumb fucking trench coats. But I'm not going to get into that. But I'm like, it's like they never want to play with colors. It's like they scared. Like, I never understood that. Play with colors.
For real. Apocalypse really is like, it's probably one of my favorites of that. It's probably my favorite of the Foxman films. It might be. I won't say for sure or anything because that's a topic in December, but it's up there. I like that one a lot.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Even though there was a major like plot hole, but the Foxman movies are not famous for continuity. So
that's the thing, is that, like, whenever I'm like considering my favorites for X-Men, I kind of just go, I don't give a fuck about what they've said before or after. I take this in a vacuum and I like this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because X-Men The Last Stand, I was like, what the hell happened to Nightcrawler? Like, where did he go? I just didn't understand that. But the scene that I really remember about, I'm gonna jump on piggyback what you said earlier about Mystique and Beast with their relationship. I loved how Jennifer Lawrence played that scene when they was like eating Twinkies and like that little, what would it be, in like a jet engine or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. When she was like, she literally said, "Go ahead, take my blood." I was like, oh. Like,
and he was like, uh-huh.
Yeah, and then how she just sat on his lap.
Shaking, nervous.
Mm-hmm. And how she just sat on his lap and put her head to the side. I was like, girl.
Yeah, she knew exactly what she was doing there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Hank knew what she was doing too, and he was like, okay.
I wonder why they didn't give him big hands. He had big feet.
It's true. But that's always been one of his things. That he he was always the big feet, not the big hands, you know?
So it was just big feet. Is that what it was? Oh, because I thought in the first issue of X-Men, he just had big hands too. Cause I remember him looking like a monkey. Okay. He was an amazing gymnast. That's all I know.
Oh, you know what? He has some pretty big ass fucking hands in that original Uncanny X-Men.
Like I remember reading the first, yeah. It was pretty
he has some pretty big ass hands. But my guess is that they were just like, maybe they were trying to do something for that scene where Charles kind of accidentally outs him as a mutant.
So yeah, because they would have noticed by his hands.
Yeah, is my guess.
What shoes did
those
he
were absurdly
wear,
big
though?
headed.
His shoes,
right? Like, how'd you hide that?
Yeah, his shoes must have been big as I'm talking about Shaq. No, bigger than Shaq. Like,
no, this man got fucking.
He had some toes on him. I was like, even though he definitely got
in the sock department.
He definitely got his feet done before that movie, though. I said I could see that glycerin on there, but still, I was like, I can see that. Ooh,
pedicure slap.
Yeah,
and Beast. I mean, like, if you got feet like Beast, you got to be getting pedicures. Like,
yeah, you gotta keep that. Yeah,
that'll get out of control quick on you.
For real, but like, I did like the design of like how they show him like kind of transforming, but like again, they never really kept Beast consistent, because then he showed it like, oh, he was pretty like, fuck, this is how he's gonna look now. But
yeah, then
he could turn it on it like first, and then he had to take the medication, and then he had like a Bruce Banner type effect and Dark Phoenix. So I'm like no, he had a Superman moment. He took the glasses off in Dark Phoenix and transformed. I was like, we're not doing this.
I am not a huge fan of that, because then because then we're like molding a few different stories in Marvel, like you're getting the Thing and you're getting the Hulk and you roll it into this feline type creature that is the Beast, and I don't know. I just prefer the classic one way or the other for him.
Yes, like it was.
It's just like we do that enough. You know, like we already have Hulk, so the Beast can do the same thing, except he doesn't turn into a fucking Hulk. Well, then what the fuck?
It's like, if you want to show that these blue characters are white, just say that.
Right.
Like, we get it. Like, even though the actor that played Beast, I'm just going to say this, for me, I saw him with a suit on at a Dark Phoenix thing. Wow, he looks good.
Nicholas Hoult is a fine man.
He looks good. I was like, yeah.
He's actually in a series that's ongoing.
Is it on Hulu, the Hulu series?
Yeah.
I know what series you're talking about. Yeah, he looks good. This was a good Beast.
No, yeah, I really like him as an actor. Mm-hmm. Like I really enjoy him.
I really just also with
The
Beast,
Great.
He has
The Great is the show.
That's what is The Great. Oh, that's that period TV show, right?
Yeah, the period comedy.
Yeah. The other thing about him, I think he was pretty good at like showing like what he was given, because we can't really beat on these actors for these movies. They was good for what they was given. This was the script, and they did it.
Oh yeah,
well.
For sure. I actually have beef with like none of the actors. Like, I think Sophie Turner as Jean Grey is fantastic. She's doing her job really well. I think the writing's a little lackluster, and the same goes for Jennifer Lawrence, and the same goes in the originals for what was her name?
Are you talking about Rogue?
Oh, her too. I was thinking of Famke Johnson though. Jean Grey in the original movies, and then Anna Paquin in the original movies as Rogue.
Yeah. Okay. I can see that. I can see that.
But I mean, like, the only characters they ever like got right were Professor X and Magneto. It seemed like those were really like, that was like all they were focused on.
And Wolverine, but they didn't get his image. Like, I mean, they had the hair, but like he's like a short fuck.
Like he's a bowling ball.
Yeah.
This man.
He's just short and mad.
Hey, I'll take Hugh Jackman though. For sure.
Oh yeah, of
course. I fuck with Hugh Jackman. Mm-hmm. That's one of my favorites out there. Mm-hmm. But his portrayal is actually the reason I don't have beef with the idea that Wolverine has to be
Days of
5
Future
foot
Past.
tall.
I'll always remember this. Happy thoughts.
Fuck off.
I love that. Happy thoughts. He was trying so hard.
After he's just murdered motherfuckers. And I can't wait. I already had an idea for January for an episode. I know we cut it off at December, but I got 6, 7, 8, 9 already in mind. I want January to be heavy.
I had some ideas too.
I wanted January to be heavy metal, and it would be an episode about Wolverine and Colossus.
And what Juggernaut too. Oh, I like that. The heavy hitters. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, heavy metal.
Yeah. Wait. Yeah. So are we just doing metal, or are we doing like heavy metal? So like they hit hard as fuck.
I was thinking I was thinking just like whatever fits there. Wolverine, Colossus, and you said Juggernaut. Juggernaut would also probably fit
because
really
he
well
just
in that little. Yeah,
I would put Rogue in that too, because she can hit hard as a bitch in the comics.
That's true.
Because Captain Marvel. True.
We'll discuss this more at a later date.
Yes. Sorry, guys. Sorry for giving y'all spoilers. My fault. Y'all got it. But what else I was going to say? How did you feel about the actor that played the new Nightcrawler?
I thought he was good. He also did really good. He did a really good job at portraying a young, like, clearly inexperienced, just kind of doing his best. And you know, he portrays it well. He's just a kid who got thrown into a lot of crazy shit because of the way he looks, and he's just trying to live, which I mean would make sense as to how he fell into being as much a Christian as he is, as faithful as he is. Yeah. He needs to fall back on something, you know, like ain't nobody looking out for me, at least God is, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. That's why it will be so interesting when they get brought into the MCU and Mephisto can come and play, because that's what they did Ultimate Alliance. Ultimate Alliance, the game, they used a mutant nullifier on Nightcrawler, and he teleported to Mephisto's realm. And I love that whole game. Like, and at the ending, if you don't save Nightcrawler, Mystique would kill all the X-Men. No, she killed Professor X, and the X-Men disbanded. That was our whole storyline. But, yeah.
Now, see, I like when they take big fucking swings like that.
Yes, it was so
Whenever
good.
You're like, I am just going to write a story. This has no consequence on anything else. Like, I can literally just do anything I want with any of these characters right here. And it's just perfect. Because it's just like, holy shit, I never would have thought of that.
It was so good. Like, they was like, because you had Doctor Strange. The whole game was set around Nightcrawler because he got kidnapped. Him and Jean Grey got kidnapped. And Nightcrawler's just missing. And you're just like, where the fuck is Nightcrawler? And you find out Dr. Doom is using the mutant amplifier on him to teleport to Mephisto's realm. It was because he said, if he teleports there when he bamfs, we can keep him in that place. We just got to keep him. And it was like, mwah, chef's kiss. Yeah, like it was so good.
I love that. Well, and see that mutant amplifier idea comes back to the idea of what Mystique could potentially do. Like if you were to amplify Mystique's powers, would that then grant her the ability to take on powers?
So when she mutates her X gene into others' X genes?
Yeah.
Well, didn't she kind of do that was that her limbs? I mean, was that her limbs? Because remember when she did that in the first one, she used Wolverine's claws. But I remember briefly when he cuts it, it's like, it looks red in it. Like, it looks kind of red.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
like,
shit. I forgot about that. I forgot that scene even happens.
Me too.
Was that just like a massive plot hole we just kind of fell into?
Yeah, because I remember she she was saying, she said, I don't know where Mystique is, but I could smell him. And the whole time that was Mystique. And then Wolverine cut him off because he cut the door and they were just fighting. And I remember she put her claws out too. And I'm like, what?
Yo, I guess I just need to rewatch X-Men.
Oh, I love feminine Wolverine in that scene. I loved it. I loved feminine Wolverine.
We got a couple interesting portrayals in that original X-Men movie, especially with like Toad.
Oh God,
And
Toad! I can't believe
that
Toad
version of
was whipping
Sabretooth.
Storm and Jean's ass. I'm like, how are y'all gonna let this ugly fuck whip your Jean? You don't even have to touch him.
Nah, you don't have to fucking touch him.
All you gotta do is this. That's why I just wish, like, give us Colton. That's why I wish they gave us a budget. We will get shit down.
We got this shit right.
Yes. Even though X-Men First Class is not the actual First Class that's in the comics. But still, I'm like, oh no.
We might have to dedicate a whole episode to the whole First Class idea too.
Oh yes, and we need to
discuss Beast and Angel and Cyclops and Jean
and Iceman.
Bobby.
Yep, Bobby, who is now gay.
Bobby.
Wait, wouldn't Bobby be introduced in this conversation? Oh wait, no, he's white, like White Snow. Cause he's
yeah. He's more of the
elemental
element. Yeah, he'd be more in the Storm, and the guy who throws fire.
Don't tell me. Sunfire? Is that his name? Sunfire?
Starfire, maybe?
No. I know her. She I know. No, it's not Starfire. What is it? Sunfire or Sunspot? It's something. Is he Latino or Hispanic? I can't remember.
Oh, I was just reading. It's Sunfire, and he's Japanese, if I remember correctly.
The X-Men 2 Age of Apocalypse did not do him right. Because I thought forever. I would have never thought that.
Nah, yeah, because I remember, because he was introduced in, I think, Giant Size also.
Oh, okay. Should we do like a whole, should we do like a whole, I was just thinking when we say about Bobby, should we do like a whole LGBT X-Men thing about North Star, Bobby?
Oh yeah, that'd be cool. We could save it. We'll save it for next June.
Yeah. Perfect.
But I'm reading an I pulled up an article here from I mean, take this with a grain of salt. It is Screen Rant. Yeah, but according to them, Simu Liu, who plays Shang-Chi, has written a multi-season plan for an X-Men show based around Sunfire.
Oh, but that's Screen Rant. Like, you gotta take everything they do with a grain of salt. Like, that's...
Oh yeah, exactly. No, yeah, I'm not entirely not putting all my eggs in this basket, because there's also an article that says, which timeline does Shang-Chi take place in?
What?
Someone took the time to write that, so I know it's probably not an all that of a publication, but I don't have much else to say on these three beautiful blue beauties.
I only have one more question for you, and it's for Mystique. How did you feel about Mystique's role from End of Apocalypse to beginning for the first and second half of Dark Phoenix?
Since we've already been talking about Dark Phoenix so much, I think, like I said, overall, I think she did dirty.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think it was executed well. I think that she was on like some sort of meteoric rise that they just fucking cut. Like, they were like, nah, this is it.
How did you feel? Like, did you like the storyline of her being a powerful role of the X-Men, or you didn't really like?
Oh, absolutely. I love that. And see, that's the thing for me, is that I'm cool if you want to give me give any character prominence. If you can do it well, I'm here for it. Yeah. And I think they did a really good job with Mystique for a few movies, and then they just it was lackluster there at the end. But regardless, I thought it was on the whole good. Like, I would say on the whole, Mystique's character overall her story was good. I just think that she shouldn't have died. Frankly, I don't think she should have
She
died.
shouldn't died.
Yeah, like that's my main beef with all of this is that she dies, and it's like, like that was completely senseless and like a meaningless sacrifice, and just dead.
I thought it was because Jennifer Lawrence was like, you know what? I don't even want to get in this blue paint no more. Like, fuck it. Let's do it.
Have you ever heard James McAvoy talk about the X-Men franchise?
Yeah, I love his interviews. It is so funny.
He hates it.
You said what?
It seems like he hates it.
Yes, like, and he always cracks on. It seems like he be cracking on Jennifer when they be like, oh, we're, like out of nowhere acting. All of a sudden, she's like, lunch. It's like, I'm over this movie. Lunch. Like, James McAvoy talks about the X-Men, how Robert Pattinson talked about Twilight.
Yeah, and how Harrison Ford talks about Star Wars.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It's just like
it's time to end this shit. Like,
I'm cashing this check. Best believe that.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck about any of this other shit.
That's all I had to say about my Crips. That's all I had to say about them.
The blue gang over here.
Yeah, blue gang.
Yeah, Mystique, Nightcrawler, and the Beast. Raven Darkholme, Kurt Wagner.
Yeah,
and
Kurt Wagner.
Hank McCoy. Yeah, three of my faves though. That's why they're the second episode. They were so front of mind to me that I was like, let's talk them and let's talk them early. But hell yeah, this was Mutants Monthly number 2, Something Blue. Be back next month on Halloween for the Halloween Spooktacular, where we'll be talking costume design, and we'll be talking some horror comics, some X-Men horror comics specifically. And hell yeah, I was Colton Robertson. I was joined by Aurora Carter. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me again. Thank you for coming on my show.
Of course, thank you for having me. If you would, go to patreon.com/CoroBloom, where you will find over 16 hours of exclusive content and some artwork that I put up that no one else will ever see.
His artwork is worth it, y'all. I'm trying to tell you, it looks good.
Thank you, Aurora. I appreciate that. Head to Twitter, follow at Penny Bloom Pod, follow Instagram at Penny Bloom Podcast, and remember, peace, love, and bloom, and always praise Keanu Reeves.